Hi everyone! Today I wanted to show you how I make my homemade dishwasher pods, and this recipe lasts me about a month. So if you're interested, just keep watching. Okay, so for this recipe, you're gonna need a couple things, obviously. So I'll kind of show you the ingredients first and then just how I do it. This is a really simple recipe and I like doing it this way because there's no plastic involved. The plastics that cover like traditional dishwasher pods are really harmful when they're melted, and we actually ingest about a credit card worth of plastic every month is what I heard. So I try to limit as much plastic in our food as we can. I don't know if we can fully get away from it completely, but I try to do what I can to limit it, like I said. So I like doing it this way because they end up being a lot more natural, I feel like. This is what they end up looking like. So like just the powder, and then they break down in the dishwasher, and they work really well. They don't leave streaks on your dishes or anything, and it is also more cost effective because you're using your own ingredients and making it kind of in bulk, so it lasts longer that way as well. Okay, so for this recipe, you're gonna need some sort of silicone ice tray. So I have 2 of them. Like I said, I make it probably about once a month to maybe a month and a half or so. It's just me and my husband at home, so we don't have to do a whole lot of dishes. I'm sure it'll be different once we have a family, but yeah, you want the ice trays to be silicone where they're kind of squishy on the bottom, because that makes it a lot easier to pop the little pods out once they harden. So I have that, and then you are also gonna need this citric acid. You'll need a 1/4 cup of this, and then you will also need baking soda, so about a cup of baking soda. And then lastly, you're gonna need some sort of dish soap. So this is just the one that I use. But yeah, so anything that you prefer. Okay, so I have my bowl here. I'm gonna start by adding a cup of baking soda. This baking soda is kind of chunky a little bit, but that's fine. I'll break it down. I forgot to mention that I am gonna double the recipe because that way I can make 2 silicone trays at once. So the recipe calls for enough for about 1 silicone tray, but this way you can make it right away. I'm gonna add 2 cups of baking soda. I don't know why these are so chunky, but that's okay. Okay, then I have citric acid, and I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of that. So once again, I'm just doubling this recipe. So depending on how much you need, you can kind of tweak it as you need to. And then for the Dawn dish soap, it's about 1 tablespoon per silicone tray. So since I'm doing 2 silicone trays, once again, doubling that. So I'm gonna do about 2 tablespoons. And I kind of just eyeball this here. I really probably add a little bit more than what I'm supposed to, but I prefer it like that. Okay, so now that we have everything together, we're just gonna mix up the recipe. So you just wanna combine it all together. It'll kind of look like this, kind of like a fluffy mixture, depending on how much dish soap that you put in. I put more in than I normally do, honestly, but like I said, it's not gonna hurt anything. So this is what it looks like when it's all combined. It's kind of a fluffy mixture in a way. So then what you're gonna do is, like I said, you're just going to take the silicone ice tray and then just fill it so that it's nice and flat on the top. If you have to kind of smooth it down, I make it so it's flush with the top of the tray. So I'm gonna do that real quick and then I'll come back and show you guys. All right, so I am back. So this is what they end up looking like. I have 2 trays here. So like I said, for me it lasts probably a month to a month and a half or so. It ends up coming to be about 24 pods. So kind of depends on how much you have to do the dishes. But for me, it lasts a good amount of time. So I don't really have to do it super often. But yeah, so I just will let this sit now for a couple hours before I end up taking them out of the pods and then putting them into the place where I just store them, because it takes a little bit for them to harden. Like I showed earlier, they do end up becoming like this hardened pod. All right, well, since this video is shorter, I wanted to also include a little bonus cleaning hack that I have. You might not know that I just got married last May, so we're almost coming up on a year now. But my goal for this year was to try and slowly kind of implement different ways to start doing my own cleaning products, or kind of making things homemade, because I like how natural it can be, and I also like that it's more cost effective that way. So before we have kids, I'm trying to learn how to do that so that it becomes just part of my routine, I guess. So I don't know if you've seen this on Instagram, but basically Christmas was a couple months ago. So we had a real Christmas tree this year. So before we got rid of it, I cut down some of the branches and I just put them in this jar and I filled it with vinegar. And then I had a couple of them. So this is just one that's waiting to be used still. You can also do it with orange peels. So in case, you know, you like that better or whatever, I actually have both. So then you just have to let it sit for a couple weeks, and then you can end up putting them in this little glass or whatever you want to use, spray bottle. And I use this, it can be used on all surfaces really. So I use this mainly in the kitchen, just when I clean the cupboards. It's more natural that way, and it smells really good. I have one that smells like oranges, like I said, and the other one is the Christmas tree. So I really like using those because they have cleaning properties in them, and that way they're more natural, and it helps save money in the long run, which is definitely really important to me. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and stick around for more kind of DIY cleaning hacks and recipes and all that kind of stuff as I continue to learn more throughout the next year. All right, well, I will see you in future videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.